My name's Sarah, and I'm 30 years old, a marketing coordinator who's spent years clawing my way up in Atlanta's tech scene. I'm the kind of person who triple-checks every email, who stays late to make sure a campaign's perfect, because deep down, I've always felt like I had to prove I'm enough. Growing up in a modest suburb just outside Atlanta, I was the middle kid, the quiet one, the one who faded into the background while my stepsister, Lauren, soaked up every spotlight. My wedding day was supposed to be my moment, a day to feel seen, loved, and whole. But Lauren had other plans, and when I saw her walk into my reception in her own wedding dress, smirking like she'd already won, my heart sank. I'd spent my life in her shadow, but I wasn't about to let her ruin the best day of my life. It all started a few months earlier, when I told my family about my engagement to George, the kindest man I've ever met. I was sitting in my mom and stepdad's cramped living room, the air thick with the smell of my mom's pot roast, a dish Lauren loved, naturally. I'd barely seen them since I moved out years ago, but I thought, maybe this time, they'd care. George and I are getting married, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. My mom barely looked up from her phone. That's nice, she mumbled. My stepdad grunted, eyes glued to the TV. Lauren, sprawled on the couch scrolling through her Instagram likes, gave a fake smile. Oh, you're doing a small thing, right? Cute. Her tone dripped with condescension, like my wedding was some backyard barbecue. Then she dropped the bomb. By the way, I'm getting married the same day. No big deal, right? I mean, our family's coming to mine anyway. I froze, my stomach twisting like I'd been punched. She knew. She'd planned her wedding at a glitzy Atlanta venue on the exact same day as mine, knowing our relatives and family friends would flock to her over-the-top event instead of my quieter one at a charming local barn. My heart screamed to call her out, but years of biting my tongue stopped me. I just nodded, said something vague, and left. Driving back to my apartment, the Atlanta skyline blurring through my tears, I felt that old, familiar ache, the one that said I'd never be enough for them. But this time, I wasn't a kid anymore. I had George, my friends, my career. I wasn't going to let Lauren steal this from me. Let me take you back to where it all began. Growing up, our house was a stage, and Lauren was the star. She was my stepdad's daughter from his first marriage, for years older, with perfect curls and a smile that could sell toothpaste. By middle school, she was winning beauty pageants and posting selfies that got thousands of likes. My parents, my mom and stepdad, treated her like royalty. They'd cheer at her pageants, frame her ribbons, and brag about her to anyone who'd listen. Me? I was the kid who got straight A's but was told to stop showing off because it made Lauren look bad. If I asked for new clothes, I got Lauren's hand-me-downs, still smelling of her perfume. If I wanted to join choir, my mom said it was a waste of money. Lauren's dance lessons came first. My birthday was the worst. One year, I got a cheap plastic bracelet while Lauren unwrapped a sparkly necklace on my day, because, as my stepdad put it, she's just more special. I learned early to stay quiet, to shrink myself, so I wouldn't upset the balance. But it hurt. Every time my mom cooked Lauren's favorite mac and cheese, every time my stepdad called her our little princess, it was like a knife twisting deeper. I'd lie awake at night, wondering why I wasn't enough. Was it because I wasn't pretty like Lauren? Because I didn't have her charm? By high school, I stopped asking for anything. I buried myself in books, in school projects, anything to feel like I mattered. But no matter how hard I tried, my parents' eyes only lit up for her. Lauren didn't just bask in our parents' attention, she wielded it like a weapon. By the time we were teenagers in our Atlanta suburb, her cruelty had sharpened into something deliberate. She wasn't just their favorite. She knew it and used it to keep me small. In 9th grade, I had a crush on a boy named Jake, a quiet kid who sat next to me in math. I'd never told anyone, but I'd doodle his name in the margins of my notebook, my heart racing when he smiled at me. Somehow, Lauren found out. Maybe she saw my notebook. Maybe she just sensed my happiness and wanted to crush it. One day, I saw her laughing with him in the cafeteria, her hand on his arm, her eyes flicking to me with that smug look. By the end of the week, they were dating. She'd parade him past me in the halls, giggling loudly, making sure I saw. When I finally confronted her, tears burning my eyes, she just shrugged.
What?
It's not my fault he likes me better. Maybe if you weren't so boring, Sarah. That wasn't even the worst of it. I kept a journal back then, a spiral notebook where I poured out everything, my loneliness, my dreams, my fears. It was my safe place until Lauren got her hands on it. One afternoon, I walked into school and felt eyes on me. Kids were whispering, laughing behind their hands. Then I overheard it. My private thoughts, the ones I'd written about feeling invisible, about wishing I could disappear. Lauren had read my journal to her friends, turning my pain into her entertainment. I wanted to scream, to confront her, but I knew how it would go. If I told our parents, they'd say I was being dramatic, that Lauren was just having fun. So I swallowed it, like always, my cheeks burning with shame as I walked to class. Her betrayals piled up over the years, each one a reminder that I'd never win. If I got a good grade, she'd accidentally spill soda on my homework. If I made a friend, she'd charm them away, leaving me alone again. Our parents never noticed, or if they did, they didn't care. Once, when I was 15, I begged to join an art club after school. I loved drawing. It was the one place I felt free. My mom rolled her eyes. We're not wasting money on that. Lauren's pageant coaching is expensive enough. I stopped asking for things after that. I'd watch Lauren twirl in her sparkly dresses, the whole family clapping like she'd won an Oscar, while I sat in the corner, invisible. School became my escape. I threw myself into studying, staying up late with textbooks under my desk lamp, determined to prove I was worth something. One semester, I worked so hard I got the highest score in my class on a history exam. I ran home, my report card clutched in my hand, thinking maybe this time they'd see me. But when I showed my mom, her face soured. Don't brag, Sarah. It's not cute. You don't want people thinking you're better than Lauren. My stepdad nodded, not even looking up from his newspaper. My heart sank to my stomach. I'd poured everything into that grade, and it still wasn't enough. After that, I started holding back, letting a few answers slide on tests, so I wouldn't outshine her. It felt like betraying myself, but I was too scared of their resentment to keep going. By the time I graduated high school, I'd given up on winning my family's love. My dream was to study marketing at a good college, maybe even Georgia State, but when I brought it up, my parents shut me down. College? We're not made of money, my stepdad snapped. Lauren's influencer gigs are enough of an investment. Meanwhile, Lauren was getting brand deals and a new car, while I was told to figure it out. It crushed me. I'd spent years working toward a future they didn't care about. A teacher, Mrs. Hayes, noticed I wasn't applying to colleges and pulled me aside. When I told her the truth, her face softened. Sarah, you deserve better, she said. She couldn't change my parents, but she did something incredible. She connected me with a local tech firm looking for an entry-level assistant. I aced the interview, landed the job, and for the first time, felt like someone believed in me. That job changed everything. I worked long hours, saved every dime, and moved into a tiny apartment in Midtown Atlanta. Cutting ties with my family wasn't easy. There was this nagging hope they'd miss me, but the freedom was worth it. I didn't have to hear Lauren's taunts or see my mom's disappointed sighs anymore. I threw myself into work, climbing from assistant to marketing coordinator, earning respect from colleagues who didn't care about my last name or my stepsister's Instagram followers. For the first time, I felt like I was building something for myself. Then I met George. It was at a tech conference downtown, one of those noisy networking events where I usually stuck to the edges. He was different, quietly confident, with a laugh that made my nerves settle. We started talking, and soon we were grabbing coffee, then dinners, then spending whole weekends together. He'd listen when I rambled about work, tease me about my obsession with sweet tea, and make me feel like I was enough just as I was. One evening, at a little park near the Chattahoochee River, he got down on one knee. My hands shook as he held them. Sarah, it's you. It's always been you, he said. I could barely speak through my tears, but I said yes, my heart so full it hurt. Meeting George's parents was like stepping into a different world. They lived in a cozy house in Buckhead, all warm lights and family photos. His mom hugged me like we'd known each other forever. "Sarah, you make George so happy," she said, her eyes kind. His dad, who ran a successful tech company, clapped me on the shoulder. "You're one of us now." I wanted to cry right there. But then his dad said, "We'd love to meet your family, Sarah. Bring them over sometime." My stomach dropped. I mumbled something about setting it up, but inside I was panicking. George squeezed my hand, sensing my fear. "We don't have to rush it," he whispered. But I knew I couldn't avoid it forever. My family wasn't like his. They'd never see me the way his parents did. I hadn't been back to my parents' house in years, but George's optimism gave me a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they'd care about my engagement. I drove to their place one evening, the Atlanta suburbs humming with cicadas. My mom was in the kitchen, stirring something that smelled like Lauren's favorite barbecue ribs. My stepdad was on the couch, scrolling through his phone. I took a deep breath. "I'm engaged," I said. "George's family wants to meet you." My mom barely glanced up. "Sounds like a lot of work," she said. Lauren, lounging nearby with her phone, snorted. "What, to your little office guy?" "Pass." I bit my lip, then tried the only thing that ever worked. "We're hosting a dinner at Porter's Steakhouse." My treat. Lauren's head snapped up. "The one with the truffle fries?" "I'm in." My parents exchanged a look. "If Lauren's going, we'll come," my stepdad said. Not because they cared about me, but because of the fancy meal. I left feeling like I'd bribed my own family, my chest tight with shame. The dinner at Porter's was a disaster. George's parents were all Southern charm, asking my family about their real estate business, trying to make conversation. My mom and stepdad barely nodded, their eyes on the menu like kids at a candy store. Lauren was worse. She spent the whole time taking selfies, barely acknowledging George's family. When his mom mentioned my marketing work, my stepdad cut in. "Oh, Lauren's the real star. Her last post got 10,000 likes." Lauren smirked, tossing her hair. George's parents exchanged glances, and I wanted to sink through the floor. As soon as the steaks hit the table, my family dug in, raving about the food but ignoring everyone else. When George's mom asked about our wedding plans, my mom waved her off. "Lauren's got a big event coming up. That's what we're focused on." The table went quiet. George squeezed my hand under the table, but I could barely look at him, my face burning with embarrassment. After dessert, my family bolted. "Gotta run," my stepdad said, not even thanking George's parents. Lauren air-kissed the table and left, her heels clicking. I sat there, mortified, until George's mom touched my arm. "Sarah, you're not them," she said softly. "You're family now." Her words were a lifeline, but the hurt lingered. A few days later, Lauren called, something she never did. "Hey, I'm getting married too," she said, her voice syrupy. "Come meet my fiancé, William, at Mom's place this weekend." I had plans with George, but he was sweet about rescheduling. "Go," he said. "Maybe it's a chance to clear the air." When I got to my parents' house, William was there, all slick hair and designer watch. The second we met, he sized me up. "So, you're the office girl Lauren mentioned," he said, smirking. "High school grad, right? No wonder you're keeping it low-key." I froze. I'd graduated from a solid state university and had a good job, but he didn't care. He kept going, saying I was nobody special compared to Lauren. My blood boiled, but before I could respond, Lauren chimed in. "Oh, and our weddings?" "Same day. But yours is just family, right? No one's coming to that." She laughed, and William joined in. I grabbed my bag, my voice shaking. "I'm done here." As I walked out, Lauren called after me. "Don't be so sensitive." That was it. I was done with them for good. When I told George about Lauren's stunt, his jaw dropped. "She did what?" he said, pulling me close. I was shaking, torn between anger and that old, familiar hurt. "She's trying to ruin our day," I whispered. George's eyes softened, but there was a fire in them. "Sarah, we're not letting her win. Your family won't show up? Fine. Let's make our wedding so big, so full of love, that it drowns out her noise." His words lit something in me. We decided to go all out, inviting friends, co-workers, and George's extended family to our venue, a gorgeous barn just outside Atlanta, strung with fairy lights and blooming with Southern charm. I didn't need my family. I had people who actually cared. The wedding day arrived, and I stood in my dress, nerves buzzing but heart full. The barn was packed, friends from work, George's cousins, even clients I'd impressed over the years. Everyone knew my family wasn't there, and instead of pity, they showered us with support. The ceremony was perfect, with George's vows making me laugh and cry at the same time. By the time the reception kicked off, the place was alive with music, barbecue, and dancing. A local band, friends of George's dad, played a set that had everyone on their feet. I was laughing, spinning with George, when I caught sight of them, Lauren, William, and my parents, walking in like they owned the place. Lauren was in her wedding dress, her face smug, like she expected to find a sad little party. I walked over, my heart pounding but my head high. "What are you doing here?" I asked. Lauren smirked, tossing her hair. "Heard your little reception was happening. Had to see it for myself." William scanned the room, his smirk fading as he saw the crowd. "This is bigger than I thought," he muttered. My parents looked stunned, their eyes darting around the packed barn. Then George's dad stepped forward, his presence commanding. "Funny seeing you here," he said coolly. William's face went white. "Mr. Lewis? Why are you here?" George's dad smiled. "It's my son's wedding. Where else would I be? Unlike some folks, I show up for family." The air shifted. William stammered. Lauren picked the date." Lauren's eyes widened. "Don't throw me under the bus. You thought it was funny to mess with her." They started bickering, right there in front of everyone, their voices rising like kids caught stealing cookies. The crowd watched, some whispering, some laughing. I saw my parents try to slink away, but then my mom turned to me, forcing a smile. "Sarah, we always knew you were the reliable one," she said, like that erased years of neglect. I shook my head, my voice steady. "Save it. You're not welcome here." At George's nod, the venue staff stepped in, politely but firmly escorting them out. Lauren and William fled, still arguing, her dress trailing behind her like a bad dream. The reception roared back to life, louder and happier than before. Later, I learned Lauren's wedding was a flop, half the seats empty because George's dad's employees, who William had invited, chose our event instead. Lauren and William's engagement fell apart after their public fight, and William's big talk cost him a promotion at work. My parents, humiliated by the whole mess, turned on Lauren, blaming her for their wasted money on her failed wedding. But none of that was my problem anymore. I was done carrying their baggage. Now, I'm building a new life with George. We honeymooned on the Georgia coast, laughing over shrimp and grits, planning our future. He's training to take over his dad's company, and I'm thriving as a housewife, turning our little Atlanta home into a warm, welcoming space, something I never had growing up. Every day, I wake up feeling like I'm finally enough, surrounded by a real family who loves me for me. To everyone who's followed this story, thank you. You've walked with me through heartbreak, betrayal, and a hard-won triumph. If my journey hit you in the heart, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every story we share is about fighting for your place, finding your people, and building a life that's yours. Keep chasing your own light, and I'll see you at the next celebration.